I'm here to do a review of the Swift Carrera 144, and I've chosen a location here called T Cerrig. It's a CL, Caravan and Motorhome Club, certificated location, and it sits between Bala and Dolgelly. And trust me, it is absolutely stunning, the views around here. It's really beautiful. What a great place to test this lovely vehicle. So let's go and have a look at what it has to offer. Now, it's based on a Fiat Ducato 140 brake horsepower, 2.2 litre engine, and this particular version has an automatic transmission. So let's take a look down the near side. So here we have an electric step, and then we have this grey awning light above here as well, which is always very handy. And then we come to the freshwater filling point, and it's a 93 litre freshwater tank. And then we go to here where we have the whale barbecue point, which is really handy, and we certainly have used it on this trip. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at the rear of the Swift Carrera 144. And I have to say, I really like the fact that it has a reversing camera, which has a fantastic monitor at the front, so you really get a really good view out the back. But additionally, you've also got rear parking sensors as well, so it's a real good belt and braces thing. Now, going into the back, we have the rear doors that obviously open. And you can see here the bed made up. Now, what we've got is access to the gas locker, which is actually below here. And you've got two 3.9 kilogram gas cylinders in here, which is really handy. You've got a lovely locker here, which has storage, where at the moment we've got our toilet chemicals in there. So that's really handy little storage. Then on this side, we've got the obligatory fly screen, which when you're camping away in the countryside, that you really need that, especially if you want to get that lovely open view out the back and stop yourself getting bitten to death. You have these pockets to the side, but quite frankly they're a bit useless because things just fall down there, so not really sure what you'd put in those. And I quite like this little feature that Swift have put in. It's a little drop down table, so if you're sat out the back, you've got a little table to put your cup of tea and your books on. So new for 2026 are these lovely decals that Swift have put in with their new Swift birds flying above. So they look really fantastic, really nice touch. So we have our electric hookup point here. We have our toilet cassette here. And then moving on down, we have this really handy little shower point, exterior shower point, which is a cold water shower. So that's very handy. And then down here, this is the emptying point for the waste tank, which is a 58 litre waste tank. So that's the exterior covered. So now let's take a look at the inside. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we have an electric step that comes out there. And we also have a handy 230-volt socket and this rather fine table, so you could charge your laptop there, or maybe boil a kettle, whatever takes your fancy. And obviously when you're sat in there and you want to look out at the superb views, it's handy having a fly screen. Moving to the interior, we're going to take a closer look at the cab area. So first of all, let's look at the seats. These are the cab seats that swivel around, which is fantastic for extra space in the living area. And I particularly like these armrests that can come down and just give you a little bit more comfort when you're relaxing in your living area. And new for 2026 is the Acacia upholstery, which has the really nice logo embroidered into it. And it also has a stain resistant coating, which is really handy when you're out on the road. Moving on to the infotainment system, we have a rear view camera, which is really fantastic. It gives a great view out the back, very handy feature. We have access to mobile phones, we have sat nav, and then we have our music. So that's really a really great infotainment system, nice and clear. Now, within the cab area, we also have USB sockets, and we also have the 12-volt device to plug in your cigarette lighter for maybe using your tyre pressure monitor or something. We also have really good concertina privacy blinds in this cab area. You have the two to the side door, which we have one here that nicely opens and closes. And then we have this one-piece cab blind on the windscreen. Now, these are only privacy screens. If I'm honest, this one is quite tricky to secure in place. And whilst we've been out on our travels, I have to say it has occasionally come down on its own accord. But hey ho, that's the way sometimes these things go, and I'm sure it's just a knack. And then just to finish up, there's this fantastic panoramic window at the top here of the cab that just lets light flood into this area, which is absolutely fantastic. I really love that. In the living area, we have these two seats and obviously your swivel round cab seats. Now, these are your two travel seats. This motorhome, you can take 4 passengers, but just to be clear, you can only sleep 3. It's only a 3 berth, but these are 2 extra travel seats, which is quite handy. And there is a little bit of storage below these seats, and there is an access locker below, but I have to say it's quite restricted in how much you can actually put in there. You have this table that stores really nicely at the back, out the way, but obviously you can use it as your dining table, and it has this really neat little swivel table, which basically if you've got 3 people in here, you can swivel it all the way around and everybody can sit and eat comfortably around the table. Moving on, we've got obviously your concertina blinds, and you've got your fly screen. And then here we have 2 USB points, which is really handy for charging your devices. We've got lots of lovely LED lighting. The lockers are quite small, and they have a really weird feature where they drop down, and I'm guessing it stops stuff falling out as you're traveling, but it does restrict what you can have in there, like really large items probably won't fit. So that's the lockers. And then up here, you can have your TV point, and you've got your aerial point here and your 230-volt socket to plug in your TV, and you can sit on those captain chairs and have a really good view of the TV. And a feature that I quite like is that if you're watching an iPad or you're listening to music, you can connect to the infotainment system via Bluetooth, and it will play it all through the speakers in this motorhome. Now, there are 2 speakers over the rear bed and 2 at the front, so it's really good for just sitting and having a really nice leisurely evening. So it's a great dining area, plenty of room, and again, obviously it's in the new fabric for 2026, which is the Arcacia fabric with the stain resistant fabric. So the main control area is up here. Now, I'll just come here first. We have a really nice little storage place to put things like torches or keys, so that's quite handy. But let's take a look at the control panel, because I have to say it's really easy to use. So at the moment it's on the home screen, and it's telling us that the leisure battery is good and that the fresh water tank is good, and obviously we've got the time there. So you have your lighting button here, so you've got your entry light and then your awning light, and you can adjust the dimmer switch depending on how bright you want it to be. So that's really handy. Then you've got your power, so you can keep an eye on your battery charging levels to check that it's all charged up nicely. Your water, so you can check how much fresh water you have in your tank, and also the pump access. And then we have internal temperatures as well, and external temperatures, just for your information. We've got a couple of light switches here, and then moving over to the heating and the hot water. The heating is really simple. At the moment this is on electric, but you can have it on gas, and it just by simply pressing the positive and the negative buttons controls the internal temperature. It's blown air heating. It's a well blown air heating system. And it's really good, very efficient. And then over here is your water, your hot water. So at the moment, as I say, we've got it on electric, but you can have it on gas. It's on high at the moment, but you can adjust your heating temperatures like that. So a really very easy to use control system. In fact, probably one of the easiest I've seen for a long time. So when I first stepped into this motorhome, I was a bit concerned that the sink looked a little bit small, but as you can see, it's actually quite a reasonable size. It's an integrated sink unit with the 2 gas hobs, which again I was a bit concerned about the size of that and how much I could actually cook on this, but it's actually really good and very easy to use. Then up here we have a cupboard which you can put all your crockery in and plates and stuff like that and cups, and you have your TV aerial in here, and also, and I'll do a closer up of this in a minute, is your drain down for your freshwater and wastewater tank. So I'll show you that one a little bit nearer. Now I love all these curved units on here, and this is a really handy pull out shelf that it just comes out. Again, I'll show that a bit clearer later on. But that's a really handy unit. And then down here we have our gas oven and grill, so that's really cool. And then there's a really good size cutlery tray, which I really like. I have lots of knives and spatulas for my cooking, so it's great that you've got lots of room for that. And then you have another cupboard down here which is great for your pots and pans, and we've also got other bits and bobs down there as well. So yeah, pretty reasonable for storage. Here we have the Dometic 90 litre compressor fridge. Now what I really like about this fridge is it is dual hinged, so you can open it from either side. And it's actually got quite a bit of space in it. There's lots of storage, and you've also got a small freezer compartment in there, which is great for your ice cubes for your cocktails, or just for freezing your barbecue food. So that's really handy. Now what I'd like to say about the compressor fridge is obviously it's common to have a compressor fridge in a camper van or van conversion, very common. They only run on 12 volts, so you do need to have a really good leisure battery. And fortunately, this camper van comes with a 110 watt solar panel, so that you can keep it charged up, that leisure battery, in order to run your compressor fridge. Now, I don't know whether you can hear it, but they are quite noisy compressor fridges. This has a feature where you can turn it onto a nighttime mode. Bear with me. And I don't know whether you can hear that, but it just went a lot quieter. So at night time you can put it onto night mode and it just takes it down a little bit. It freezes it. It cools it less. It will only go up to maximum of 3 bars on quiet mode, but that's enough to get you through the night, and then in the morning you can then turn it back to your daytime mode, where it will go back to performance. And I don't know whether you heard that, but that just ramped up again to a higher level and cools it more efficiently. The washroom is quite compact in this, but that's normal on a van conversion. We've got a mirror that, quite frankly, is a little bit small. If you stood outside trying to do your hair and makeup and whatnot, you really do have to kind of come into this space to get that full view. It would have been nice, I think, if this could have been a mirror as well. So this is a storage cupboard for your shampoos, your deodorants and your toothbrush and toothpaste. So handy little drawer, and obviously you've got your LED light. Now in here, obviously it's an integrated shower washroom, so we have the black contemporary fixings along with this here, which is handy for drying stuff from or hanging towels from. Now interestingly with this, the switch for the light is actually right above my head up here. Something I've not seen before. Normally you get a pull cord, but maybe that's a little bit neater. And we do have a skylight in this washroom. There's a little shelf here for putting a few bits and bobs when you're not travelling. The sink folds out like so, and again we've got the contemporary black tap fittings, which is very smart and very on trend at the moment really. And then that just folds back in, and obviously you've got your Thetford toilet. Interesting toilet roll holder. It's completely covered obviously, so when you're having the shower that you don't get your toilet roll wet, but as you open it, it unfolds it for you. Nice little feature, and when you shut it, it folds it back up again, so that's really neat. And then in the shower tray we've got duckboard fitting down here, and it does actually have 2 plug holes, which is really good for drainage. I do like that. And to finish up in this washroom, we have this tambour door, which obviously is a bit more space saving than having any other type of door there, and obviously that clips in for travel mode. So that's the washroom, and a nice feature that I think all washrooms should have is hooks for hanging coats, particularly your wet coats. When you've been out on a wet walk, it's really great to be able to hang them in here and let them drip dry in your shower tray. The rear double bed is 6'1" by 4'4", and I have to say it's actually quite comfortable. Now what I can say about this area is we have 4 lockers above us here, which is great for storing your clothes. We've got 2 speakers, as I mentioned earlier, and we've got a point here where you can have a TV bracket, and there is also a TV point with a 230-volt socket and an aerial point, so you could have a TV point there. And what I really like is there's a lot of ventilation in the rear here, because the 2 windows over in the doors, they open. You've got a skylight, and you've got the window behind me here that also opens, so lots of ventilation. So it's a really great double bed. Okay, so I'm just going to sum up with some of the key facts and also our opinions on this van conversion. So the price of the standard model is 79,870. Now this has had the upgrade of the automatic gearbox, so that obviously will increase the price. The length of it is 6 meters. The width is 2.26 meters. The outside height is 2.72 meters, and the MTPLM is 3,500 kilograms, which means you can drive this on a Category B license. Now, I have mentioned it is has 4 travel seats, but is a 3 berth. And I think it's important to mention that the freshwater tank is 93 litres, the wastewater is 58 litres. And I do want to just mention the hot water tank. It's an 8-litre hot water tank, and it's the well underfloor hot water tank, which we have actually tested this way back on our caravan, and they're really good water heating systems. So from my perspective, as we've been away in mid Wales, I've grown to love it as I've spent more time in it, and it's being organised and just utilising what space you have. It's a really nice modern contemporary feel in here with a good sized fridge, and it's just so fun to go out in and tour around different areas, easy to drive. You know, this would make a great camper van for an adventurous couple that just want to go and tour and see different places. So Nigel, what's your opinion? How did you feel about this camper van?
Well, I have to admit, when I first saw it, I was a little bit skeptical about the size, particularly the bed size. I was
Yeah.
thinking, am I going to be able to sleep comfortably in it? But actually, I could. I like the setup where you've got the rear lounge here, but you've also got a front lounging area as well. I found that really spacious. You have to be really disciplined, I think, in a van of this size. You have
Yeah.
to be really, really thoughtful about what things you bring with you, and you have to put stuff away when you finish using it. But I've really enjoyed it. I think it's been great. It's been a lovely part of the country to visit as well in terms of mid Wales, and I look forward to testing similar vans in the future.
Yes, so thank you very much for watching. And if you want to watch any of my other reviews or my practical top tips, please subscribe to my channel for future videos. Many thanks.